Students, today we'll start with the fifth step in the domain class construction, that is organizing and simplifying the classes using inheritance. As we all know, inheritance is about organizing the classes according to their common structure or in some hierarchy. This can be done using two ways, that is first one is generalizing, second one is specializing. Generalizing is a bottom-up approach wherein you will start with more specific classes and we will start finding out what are the features that are very much common and we will put them in the superclass. That is, from the bottom you are moving to the up, means from the subclasses you will moving to the superclass. For example, when you move to the domain, you are developing a software for our university. That time when you come and visit the domain there, you will find out few of the faculties you will find out and you will meet the students also. Now the common factor between a employee who are the faculties and the students who are studying is both of them have the common attributes like their name, their address, their date of birth. So from these subclasses I have taken out the most common things and I have put it into a superclass. This is about the generalization. Second one is specialization, wherein this is the top down approach. That is, I have found out a class which has the common features. From the common features I'll add the specific features to some of the classes and I'll make them the subclass. Now the person class is found. Now when I add the specific informations like employee ID, his salary to the class employee, the person will become a employee. Similarly, for the person, if I add the specific informations like the USN to which course he is enrolled, now the common class person has become a special class student. So these are the two ways of implementing the inheritance in our domain class, so that which simplifies and organizes the classes. So if you take the example of our ATM system, we have found out in the previous class diagram, wherein if you look at this diagram thoroughly, we have two types of transactions working here. One is the cash transaction, wherein the customer will move to the premises of the bank and his transaction will be entered by the cashier in the bank and will be entered at so and so cash station. Similarly, remote transaction will be authorized by your cash card, that is ATM card, and will be entered in some ATM. Now both of them, either whether it is a remote transaction or the cash transaction, both of them will share some common features. Those are the date and time of the transaction, what type of transaction it is, and next is the amount of the transaction that has been taken place. Now if I take the common features and I may construct a super clause called as transactions. So look here, now I am just reorganizing the structure into one more structure with the help of the inheritance. That is, I'll make a common superclass transactions and the common features like the kind of transaction that is taking place, the date and time on which the transaction has taken place, for which amount or how much amount it has taken place. I'll just move into the superclass, and the two types of the transactions, that is cashier transactions and the remote transaction, will be the subclasses. Similarly, we have entry station. That is, if you look at this particular diagram again, if any remote transaction is happening, that will be happened at the ATM, and if the cash transaction is happening, it is happening at some cashier station, right? So this is the entry stations. So there are two types of entry stations now. One is either the ATM, another one is the cashier station. That is, the person is moving to the bank and he is doing the transactions. Look here, again the entry station is a super class. It has two types. One is ATM. If it is ATM, then it is working with the central computer, because the ATM card of one bank can be accessed in the ATM of another bank. Means I should work with the central computer which is attached to the consortium. If I am working with the cash station, means I am moving to the bank personally and talking to the cashier and I am doing my transaction, the cashier will be attached to the bank computer. So here the classes are again reorganized using the inheritance. The sixth step is testing the access path. That is, when the different classes are connected to each other, when the different classes are connected to each other using some association, I need to check, I need to trace otherwise whether is there any access path exist. For example, if you just look at this particular a single line here, the meaning of this particular connection is, I say consortium has a central computer. The central computer has many ATMs attached to it, right? And whatever remote transaction are taking place, they will be entered on the ATM. Now, I want to know on so and so date who has actually accessed my particular ATM machine. To know who has accessed my ATM machine, I should trace to which bank code that ATM card belongs to. Now I will trace whether is there any path exist so that I can trace this particular information. So let us see, some remote transaction has taken place at particular ATM. From this particular ATM which is connected to the central computer, this central computer, I'll go to the path of consortium. From the consortium, I can access the bank code. With respect to the bank code, uniquely I can identify to which bank this particular ATM card which was used here belongs to. Right now, there exists a path. So we need to test whether the access paths are present or not. Main thing we have to concentrate here is, whenever there is a multiplicity of many to many, we should check whether are we able to generate the unique value. Look here, we know in one consortium there can exist many banks, right? The multiplicity here was 1:many. Since I have added the qualifier here as a bank code, now the multiplicity is reduced to uniqueness, right? Like this, we need to test the path by tracing the paths, and similarly we need to check whenever there is a multiplicity many to many, are we able to pick the unique value. And we should think about what are the probable questions or the queries that can be executed, right? Like this, we should test the path whether it exists or not. Next step, that is the seventh step, is iterate and refine the model. That is iterating and refining the model. As we all know, software development will not happen at one stretch. We always follow the iterative model, wherein once the first stage is complete, wherever we feel the change is required, we go back to the earlier stage and we'll correct it. So in one single pass, we'll not be able to generate the correct domain class model. So again, we need to go back and check if any class is missing, we should add it. For any class, if the attributes and the association between the classes are missing, we should add it and iterate and refine the model. The next step is shifting the level of abstraction. Let us consider one example here. Before considering the example, I'll just give you a brief introduction here. Whenever we create the domain class model, always we start with the identification and the nouns and the verbs, which will play a major role in identifying the classes and the association between them, right? So once we find out the different classes, next is we'll start finding out the association. Let us consider an example wherein a software developer was given a task to computerize the working in some particular organization, and when he has moved to that particular organization's domain understanding, what he has found out is, in the company there were 3 levels of employees working. One were the individual contributors, many individual contributors, that is the last level workers were being supervised by the supervisors. Next, many supervisors were working under a manager. Now when he has seen this particular working pattern in that organization, he has created 3 separate classes. That is, one class for identification he has identified is for the individual contributors, means who are reporting to the supervisor. Next, he has created one separate class for the supervisors who are reporting to the manager. Now he has 3 classes. Look here, many individual contributors are supervised by one supervisor. Many supervisors are report to the managers. Right? Like this, the hierarchy is existing in that organization. Now he has created this class. After few years in that particular organization, if one more level of hierarchy, one more level of reporting is implemented, that is, the managers are now reporting to the general manager. In this scenario, what is required now? If I need to say, that is, the manager are to be report to the general manager, according to this person's model, I'll say many managers will report to a single general manager. I say general manager means I need to create one more class and I need to add the attributes. Now, if you look at all these 4 classes, we find some features are very much common here. The first common thing is all of them are the employees of the same organization, right? Means everybody will have some employee number, right? He has the employee number, this person has the employee number, this person has employee number, means these are common here. Now what I do is, when all these are common, like the name, everybody has the name, everybody has their own designation. Okay, what is the main difference here? Only the difference here is the reporting level is different. Individual contributors are reporting to the supervisors, supervisors are reporting to managers, and managers are reporting to the general manager. Only the difference is the reporting level. Otherwise, all are sharing the common attributes. So, more improvised model to represent this particular structure is, let us have a common class as a person and will implement a employee type and reporting label as 2 attributes. Now I'll say, if the employee type is individual contributor, then with respect to individual contributor, the reporting label is supervisor, right? So if the employee type is supervisor, reporting label will be manager. Similarly, if the employee type is manager, the reporting label is general manager. Okay, so like this, we will improvise this particular model. Now, in case in the further structuring, if the general managers are need to be reporting to managing directors, assume that we say all the general managers are supposed to report to MD. In this previous structure, what was my requirement? I need to create one more class with again the common attributes. But in this improvised model, only 2 values are to be implemented. That is, I need to enter employee type as general manager, reporting label as MD here, right? So here this is more flexible and allows us to do the changes very easily without affecting the structure of the whole program. Okay, so the association here is boss and the employee. Now we say many employees are working under 0 or no boss, right? So for example, for the MD, we don't have any boss here. But whereas for the individual contributors, any number of individual contributors, the boss is the supervisor. Similarly, for many supervisors, boss is a manager. For the manager, it's general manager, and for the general manager, it may be managing director. This is how we shift the level of the abstraction. The next step says, group the classes into some package. Always we have learnt in the first module, that is, package is a group of elements which are belong to the common theme, like the classes, the association, generalization, and the lesser packages are actually clubbed into a single package. Okay, example packages can be, we can create a package called as teller. In a bank, teller is a person who directly interacts with the customer. So who all are the tellers in the banking domain? This is a cashier, because directly you go and approach the cashier either for deposit or withdrawal, right? Otherwise you go to the entry station, that is a branch. You will go and talk to the people there. Okay, so teller is a person who directly interacts with the customer. So in the entry station we can have the customer care operator who may be directly interacting with the customer. Similarly, we may have the cashier stations, okay, where the cash transaction will take place. Similarly, for the remote transaction, it is the ATM, right? So this becomes one package. Similarly, I can have a package called as accounts. So all the account related things will be kept under one package. Like accounts will consist of different account, for the on account which cards are actually given to the customer, and the authorization details to access that particular card, which customer hold that particular card, what all the transactions that have taken place on that card. Like this, all the related classes, associations, generalizations will be put into a package. This is how we will do the domain class model construction. To summarize, the domain class model construction has different steps. The first step was identification of the classes. How we have identified the class? We have identified the class by identifying the nouns that are there in the problem statement. Once all the nouns were identified, we were eliminating the unwanted irrelevant nouns, and we have found out the right classes. Second one is, for all the right classes, we had prepared the dictionary, which consists of a paragraph details about those classes, associations. We have created a dictionary kind of thing for that particular classes. Next is, once the classes were found, we started relating them using the associations. Next is, once the associations, that is class are linked to each other, we started finding out the attributes for each and every object and as well as for the link. Next is, the classes were organized and simplified using the inheritance, either using the generalization or the specialization. Next is, when the classes are connected, we verified whether is their path exists for most likely asked queries or the questions. Next is, once the first draft of the model class was, domain model was ready, we iterated to the next iteration, so that we have refined it with more information, or we have identified if something is left out. Next is, we reconsider the level of abstraction, and the last step was, we have grouped the related classes, the associations, generalization according to some theme into a package. So once it is done, our refined model of the ATM would look like this. That is, initially the diagram was like this, wherein the different classes were connected to each other with the help of some associations, and we started adding the attributes like bank has name. We added the attribute like cashier has name, right? And all the transactions have their amount and the date and time on which that transaction has taken place and the type of the transaction, right? Like this, we added the attribute and our class diagram was ready. Now, once we refine it with the inheritance, the class diagram will look like this. Okay, so we have used the inheritance to find out two types of transaction that can take place. That is, either the transaction is a cash transaction or a remote transaction. And the common features with respect to transaction, like kind of transaction, date and time, amount, were kept in the superclass. Okay, and similarly for entry stations, two stations are there for the customer to interact with. Either he can go with the ATM, otherwise he can go with the cashier station, right? So two types of entry stations were identified and we have simplified using the inheritance. So like this, we will revise our class diagram using the inheritance.